Hello crafters, welcome to Design Team Week on G's Creations. This week we have a design team project for Little Acres Creations, and that's Shell Ratcliffe. There's a link for her store below, and I will link her channel in the corner. And on Thursday we have a design team project for Made It Stamps, and in that video I will link all May's details. So today we are going to be making this barn card. And I just wanted to show you some of the other cards that I've created. So these are some of the two of the 4x4 cards, and Shell has a challenge in her Facebook group at the moment, which is Little Acres Creations, and it's to create a 4x4 card or a 4x4 anything, whether it be mixed media project or card, and you get a number, and then you get chosen. She's going to do like a giveaway, a goodie bag. You get one ticket if it's just a standard 4x4 creation, but you get two numbers if it's a 4x4 creation, and then if it's a 4x4 creation using one of her stamps. These items on these two cards are from her stamp set Mama's Flock. Now in this card here I will be using Mama's Flock and Hey There, and they are her two latest releases. So I'll be showing you those once we get started. But this is the barn card. Then on the inside it says congratulations on your adoption. I'm going to go through all the sentiments on both of these stamp sets. So let me bring those over to you now. Some of the stamps may not be on there because I'm using them. So just to make you aware of that. So we have Mama's Flock, and it says, "You crack me up." There's a cotton spool or a knitting spool. We have an egg, and it says, "Family comes in all shapes and sizes. It's your extra special day." We have the not the barbed wire. We have the wire fencing. We have another egg which is cracking. We have a little bow. We have two kind of chicks, one duck and a mama chick sitting on some eggs knitting, so that keys in well with the knitting yarn ball. And it says, "I'm so excited." So this particular set is fantastic if you've got expected mum, if you've got someone who you know has just adopted or is adopting. This is also very good if you're adopting animals as well. One thing I like about Shell Stamp, she always looks beyond the main sentiment. So yes, we can use this for adopting animals, but we can also use it for adopting children. Like it says, all families come in different shapes and sizes. No, it says families come in all sizes and shapes and sizes, excuse me. So which is true, they do. So we've got the Mama's Flock, and then we have Hey There. We have this gorgeous cow. We have a milk urn. We have a hay bale. We have barbed wire. We have a bell. So they are the images. We have Cow You're Doing. Sending you smooches. You're utterly awesome. It's past your birthday. What's moo with you? And Hey There. And again, gorgeous set. I love the cow. I love the images, and the sentiments are really quite quirky, and that's another thing I love about Shell stamp sets. So I'm going to put these to one side. Now the card I am making today is a 6x6 card. So I've got my base, and the first thing I need to do is I need to create the barn roof. So I am going to measure my card and find out where the center is. So obviously it'll be at 3 inches. I'm just going to mark it with my pencil, and from that point I'm going to come out where the 0 is at the 3-inch mark here. Let me zoom you in so you can see. Let me move this card up. Right, so I am going to put my 0 point where the halfway page is, or the half point of the page, and I'm going to bring the 3 over where it hits the edge, just so I get a nice slant. And I'm going to repeat that on the other side. So put the 0 in the center of the page and bring the 3-inch mark to the edge of the page. Then I know that both sides are going to be equal. And then I'm simply going to cut those off. because I don't want a huge slant to my roof. So you can go a bit deeper if you want to. So I'm just going to rub off any excess pencil marks that I may have made. Right, now we go down to creating the doors. Now I'm going to come in 1.5 inches. Are you still zoomed in? Yes, good. I'm going to come in 1.5 inches and mark, and the same on the other side, using my board as well to help making sure everything's lined up neatly. So 1.5 inches, and then I'm going to go up 3 inches. So again, I'm going to put the 3-inch mark on the edge of my paper and making sure it's straight. And then join those two lines together. And obviously that's 3 inches, so I'm going to go in 1.5 inches to make my doors equal. Okay, now to create the barn kind of wood effect, I used my little inchies from Distress Inks from Tim Holtz. So I am going to use an array of browns. Let me just get my pad, and I'm going to use Rusty Hinge, and I don't mind if they overlap, that's fine. That one didn't seem to quite work. Right, now using the rubber end of my pencil, I'm going to go to Gathered Twigs, and I'm going to put in some almost like nail heads, and this was a technique that Meme did a while ago, and I love it. So I'm just going to put in some random little nails. Okay. Now we come to cutting the doors open. So I'm just going to use my Fussy Cut scissors, which are available from my store. There'll be a link in the description box and also in a pop-out. One thing I also do is I'm also going to go onto the back here, and I'm going to create the same effect with the woodwork, just so that the doors are uniformed as they open up. Okay, now using my ruler, I'm going to put my ruler against the line, and I'm going to lift the door. I'm going to lift the door and push it back, just rubbing the base with my finger. And the same on this side. So I'm going to put it in place, lift the door, and with using my thumb just manipulating the base. So that creates the barn doors. And obviously go back and erase your pencil lines. Okay, put that to one side. Now I've got some scrap white paper, and I'm going to cut some lengths so I can do the trim. Now these lengths are approximately I'd say about 3/4 of, no, I'd say, how wide are these? Let's have a look. They are about 7mm or 1/4 of an inch. So again, I'm just going to cut some lengths that I can utilize. And I'm going to cover these in Barn Door, which is another distress ink from Tim Holtz. So I want the red, oh, that reminds me, to get your card base so it's exactly the same for when you open up the card, what I did is I placed this on top of the actual card base and just drew where the lines were, then close the card back up and cut it. That way I know that my card base will fit my topper perfectly. So that's that. You haven't got to really do much with the actual card base itself on this particular card. Okay, so I'm going to have you going across like that. So I'm just going to eyeball the length I need, and I'm going to have you going across like that. I'm going to do you slightly longer so you can go underneath the other one, and I'm going to cut you off. Is that the bit? Yeah, that's the piece I need. Right, now using my gorgeous ink blending tool from the very talented Shell's husband, I'm just going to ink up the edges just to give this a bit of distressing. These are inky. These blending tools are a piece of art. I know I've said it 1,000 times, and I will say it another 1,000 because I honestly believe it. Right, I'm just going to wipe my hands off because I really don't want to transfer any of the colour onto the white card base. Now, using some of the square foam dots, which I've put down and now I cannot find it, there we go, which I am finding it really hard to keep these things in stock, they sell so quick. Right, so you are for there. Yep, so I can put some foam dots on the back for you. You get 400 of these for 99 pence, and they sell really, really well, and they're really good quality too. Right, so pop that on there. And then I want this one. Fantastic. There we go, and then I just want a little piece to go at the bottom here. So again, I'm just going to pop it on, line it up, and snip off the excess. There we go, that's that done. Okay, now on the middle here, I'm going to stamp on the sentiments, and I'm going to use, which one shall I use? Let's have a look at the stamp sets and bring them over. I'm going to use You're Utterly Awesome. You Are Utterly Awesome. Okay. And just for drying speed, I'm going to use my Memento because the other one can take a bit of time to dry. And I'm going to be doing lots of other work on this card, so I need it to be dry quick. So You're Utterly Awesome. Okay. Right, I'm going to put this to one side now because we don't need that. I'm going to bring over some scraps, and we are going to we're going to do some stamping. So I'm going to stamp the lovely hay bale. Stamp off 2 of those, and I'm cleaning my stamps off as we go. And I'm going to use the milk urn, which I love. I think out of the whole set, I think the milk urn is one of my favourite images. That and the cow. I love them both. These are all hand drawn by the very talented Shell. So come on, hurry up and dry. The cardstock that I'm using is very thick, so it can take a bit longer for the ink to dry. So while I'm waiting for that to dry, I'm going to show you what I did with the cow. If I can find my cow stamp, there we are. So I'm going to bring my card base over. Let's put these scissors away so it's not so cluttered. Right, I'm going to bring my card base over and then work out where I want my cow. So I'm just going to pencil in the line, and I want her sticking out a bit. So again, using the memento, I'm going to have her poke her head out from within the barn, and again making sure that I don't want to get any ink anywhere. That's one of the downsides to doing so many inking. Oh well, her feet didn't come out very well, but never mind. We can cover that with a what do you call it, a hay bale. Right, I'm going to give you some brown splotches, Miss Cow. That's what I think I'm going to do. You're going to be a brown splotchy cow. Going to do your nose all brown, I think. Now, these are just the Tim Holtz Distress ink markers, and this one was Vintage Photo, ironically. Okay, so we're going to do that. So put that to one side. Okay, and we're going to cut these out. Now, I know there's lots of squiggly bits because there's a lot of detail on these hay bales, but just to make it easier for when I'm cutting, I'm just following a simple cut, as you can see. Right, I'm going to use IB2, which is the Spectra Noir pens, and I'm just going to give this urn a blue kind of shadow, and then I'm going to use DR1 for the band. Red and blue, something about red and blue going lovely together. A couple of foam dots on the back. And we can pop this one into place, and this one's going on the side here. Where do I want these now? Let's have a look. Let's bring our cow over, and I'm going to put this one here so it's poking. She's poking behind a hay bale. And I think I'm going to use the sentiment "Sending you smooches." So it sounds like, so it looks like the cow is giving the recipient some smooches, a kiss. Have you ever received a kiss from a cow? Because I know I haven't. I know when I was feeding a horse when I was younger, the horse licks my hand trying to get the apple, and the tongue was so rough. What random thing to bring up into a video, Gareth. Welcome to Gareth Random Stories. Only on G's Creations. Right, so I'm going to do that. So then when you open it up, it says sending you smooches on the inside. Okay, now it comes to adhering it to the card base, and I'm going to use the fantastic art glitter glue. And you could literally go to town with these cards. There's so much you can add to them. Right, making sure that that's all on and not overlapping. Okay, there we go. So there we have the farm barn card. No, the farm the barn card. We're using stamp sets from Little Acres Creations. There'll be a link to the store below, and there'll be a link to Shell's channel above. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this card tutorial, and I'll see you again on Thursday with Memo Made It's design team video. Thank you.